Hi there. It's July 27th and time for Proverbs 27. Let's jump over there. I'll turn that off. All right. Okay. Still in Solomon's Proverbs that King Hezekiah's made copy down for the king of Judah. And we'll continue. Verse 1, don't boast about tomorrow, for you don't know what a day may bring. Right? What's it say for tomorrow over here? Delay not the time, but take occasion when it's offered. Okay. Don't boast not thyself. Don't boast. Don't brag about tomorrow, right? And then Jesus said, don't even worry about tomorrow, okay? He said, don't think about tomorrow. It ruins today, basically, right? Think about today. And verse 2, let another praise you, not your own mouth, a stranger, and not your own lips. Now, this is very important, okay? Don't brag, okay? Jesus detests bragging, right? Haughtiness, arrogance, right? Detests those things. Humble. Jesus is looking for humble, right? And God. Jesus is God, so. 3, a stone is heavy, and his sand a burden, but aggravation from a fool outweighs them both. Boy, that's true, isn't it? Aggravation from a fool. 4, fury is cruel, and anger a flood, but who can withstand jealousy? It says envy over here. But well, the envious are obstinate and cannot be reconciled, right? Envy, jealousy. See, I think of those as two different things, okay? Jealousy is being betrayed by somebody you loved and trusted, okay? That's betrayal. Okay? Envy is wanting something somebody else has, okay? But both, right? You can get over anger, right? You can get over fury. Jealousy, that betrayal doesn't go away, so. 5, better an open reprimand than concealed love. Right? Concealed love doesn't do anybody any good. Okay? Love is something you give. Love is something you pour out on somebody. Right? If it's secret and you never pour out the love, what good does it do? So, better an open reprimand, open rebuke. Better just to, right, have some kind of attention. Right? 6, the wounds of a friend are trustworthy, but the kisses of an enemy are excessive. So over here, the wounds of a beloved are faithful, and the kisses of the enemy are pleasant. They are flattering and seem friendful, right? Flattering, right? Kisses of an enemy are flattering, right? They want something from you. 7, a person who is full tramples on a honeycomb, but to a hungry person, any bitter thing is sweet. Okay, that's a deep statement. Okay, I mean, a hungry person, they'll dig through the trash and eat and find somebody's half-eaten old sandwich and eat it and enjoy it and love it and think it's sweet and tastes good, right? When you're full, you throw stuff away. Huh? What your mother said, right? When you were young, right? Think of all the starving children in India or something. Eat all your dinner. 8, a man wandering from his home is like a bird wandering from its nest. Okay? Don't wander. Okay? If you go away, if a bird wanders from its nest, its babies get eaten, stolen, killed, right, by snakes and prey animals, other birds, right? If a man wanders from his home, right, if you're gone too long, right, something else is going to come in and destroy it. 9, oil and incense bring joy to the heart, and sweetness of a friend is better than self-counsel. Is one but perfect just as so doth the sweetness of a man's friend by hearty counsel. So here in the 1599 Geneva version, it says, as ointment and perfume rejoice the heart, so doth the sweetness of a man's friend by hearty counsel. So over here, the sweetness of a friend is better than self-counsel, which, yeah, right. So, makes sense to you? Kind of makes sense when you put them both together. 10, don't abandon your friend or your father's friend, and don't go to your brother's house in time of calamity. Better a neighbor nearby than a brother far away. Right. I have neighbors nearby. I have good friends that live within 20 minutes, and if calamity were to strike, I could go to my friends, okay? My brother would also take me in, okay? He has room. He lives 770 miles away, right? So, better a neighbor nearby than a brother far away. 11, be wise, my son, and bring my heart joy, so that I can answer anyone who taunts me, right? Now, you want your children to be wise, right? I know my children. I raised my children. And if somebody was to come up to me and say, your son said this and did this and did this, I would know, and I would be able to answer them, right? Because I know my son, and I know what he would and would never do, right? So it brings my heart joy, right? 12, a sensible person sees danger and takes cover. The inexperienced keep going and are punished, right? He is wise. You see danger, okay? Like there's a lot of it out now. These protests and looting stores and burning cars and breaking things and hurting people for no reason, really, okay? Just to be rebellious, right? People run into that? No. A sensible person sees that kind of stuff and goes the other way, takes cover. So can you say anybody that's out there is not sensible? Yeah, you probably could. Okay. 13, take his garment for he has put up security for a stranger, get collateral for it if it is for foreigners. Okay. Now he's talking about co-signing for people's loans. Solomon talked about that a lot. Okay, never do it, he said. Okay. And they're saying if you do, get a collateral. Okay. Right? You're putting up your name, your credit, your money for somebody else's loan and somebody else's thing. So it's usually for a car or something. If somebody really needs a car, even your own kids, I really need a car, got a new job, can you co-sign for me? Now, if they pay the loan off, it's not a problem. If they don't, that foreigner, stranger, you don't know, is going to come after you, okay, for the money. So you get a collateral, right? Well, I'm going to take your son. I will sign this car. I know you need a car, so I will co-sign for you so you can build up your credit. But I'm going to take your dirt bike. I'm going to take your Xbox, and I'm going to put those away. And if you don't pay the loan and I have to pay it, I'm going to sell those things to get my money back. Okay? Collateral. I mean, you can't use the car because, okay, if they don't pay the loan, the car is collateral for the bank, okay? You get a loan on your house is collateral, okay? Okay, 14, if one blesses his neighbor with a loud voice early in the morning, it will be counted as a curse on him, as a curse. And people like that, I am one of those early birds and I'm always up early, okay? I don't call my friends early in the morning, okay? I don't, because I know they don't get up as early as me. That'll be counted as a curse. They won't like that. Okay. 15, and endless dripping on a rainy day and a nagging wife are alike. The one who controls her controls the wind and grasps oil with his right hand. Okay. Solomon could not control seven. Nobody can control 700 wives, not even the wisest man in the world, right? 17, this is important. Iron sharpens iron, and one man sharpens another. Right? So doth man sharpen the face of his friend. One hasty man provoketh another to anger. Weird. Right. One man sharpens another. Right. If you want to be really good at something, hang around other people that are really good at it, right? And you could teach it, okay? Soldiers train together. They work together, okay, as a group, and they help each other up, right? Iron sharpens iron, right? When I wanted to be a good computer tech, when I just started out back in the, it was back in the, like 1989. I hung around computer techs, right? I hung around computer people, learning all I could. And as it got on, as later years, when I became a computer tech, right, there was a group of us together working on a project, and each one of us could sharpen the other person because we had different areas of expertise. Right? So, yeah, hang around the people you want to be like. 18, whoever tends a fig tree will eat its fruit, and whoever looks after his master will be honored. Back in the day, it was written into the law, if you had workers in your vineyards or in your orchards or in your fields, they were allowed to eat food that they picked, okay? It was just there. "19, as water reflects the face, so the heart reflects the person." Right? Got a note over here. "There is no difference between man and man by nature, but the only the grace of God maketh the difference." Right. As water reflects his face, today would be a mirror. As a mirror reflects the face, so the heart reflects the person. You can tell the way a person's heart is by the way they act, okay? By the way they treat strangers, by the way they treat animals, by the way they treat their children, by the way they treat the cashier or the waiter. 20, Sheol and Abaddon are never satisfied, and people's eyes are never satisfied, right? The secret to all problems, or most problems, right here. People's eyes are never satisfied, okay? I think Solomon said this a couple of chapters back, right? No matter what you have, you always want more, right? So they have credit cards and they have payments. You can get a brand new car, trade your old car in. Is there anything wrong with your car? No, it runs fine. You know, it gets you where you're going. It doesn't give you any problems. Right? We want a new car, a bigger house, more stuff. Right? If you could be satisfied, right? Your eyes were satisfied and thankful for everything you have, then you'll be rich. Okay? Rich isn't having, right, getting everything you want. Rich is appreciating everything you have. Okay? 21, a crucible for silver and a smelter for gold, and a man's for the words of his praise. So there is a finding pot for silver and the furnace for gold, so is every man according to his dignity. That is, he is either known to be ambitious and glorious or humble and modest. Okay? A man for the words of his praise. That's interesting, huh? And a man for the words of his praise. Or gold, but a man is tested by his praise. I like that. A man is tested by his praise. Can you be humble and take praise? Right? 22, though you grind a fool in a mortar with a pestle along with the grain, you will not separate his foolishness from him. Gross. Okay, that's just a mental image. You can't get out of your head once you read that, right? Though you grind a fool in a mortar with a pestle along with the grain, you will not separate his foolishness from him. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Now these last 23 through 27 goes together, and we'll read it together. And it's important, okay? It's important advice. First we'll read it, and then we'll tear it apart. Know well the condition of your flock, and pay attention to your herds, for wealth is not forever. Not even a crown lasts for all time. When hay is removed and the new growth appears, and the grain from the hills is gathered, and lambs will provide your clothing, goats the price of a field, there will be enough goat's milk for your food for your household, and nourishment for your female servants. Okay. So, know well the conditions of your flocks, and pay attention to your herds, for wealth is not forever. All right? Know well the condition of your finances, right? Pay attention to your stores, your stocks, your food, right? Housing, maintenance on your car, right? For they don't last forever. Wealth is not forever. Money won't always be there. So you have to store up, right? When hay is removed and the new growth appears, and the grain from the hills is gathered in, lambs will provide your clothing, and goats the price of a field. Okay. Lambs will provide clothing. Right, diligence. Okay, this is about diligence. Okay, you take care of stuff, and it grows, right? Right, and it'll be there. So, basically, in this, you want to pay attention, okay, and don't let your spouse do it. Don't let your wife do it. This is man's job. Okay, it's a man's job to look after his house, look after their finances, to pay the bills, to make sure there is enough there. Okay. To make sure you always have enough. It's important. Very important. Right? You shouldn't have to go to your wife and say, can we afford this? Right? You should know. Okay? You should know ahead of time and for the future. So there you go. That's Proverbs 27. Okay? I'll go over our highlights here. 2 is, I let another praise you, and not your own mouth, a stranger, and not your own lips. Right? That's pride. Right? God hates pride, arrogance, conceit, haughtiness. Okay? Humble. Okay? You have nothing except that the Lord gives it to you. Right? So the Lord should get all the credit. Okay? Or fury is cruel and anger fled, but who can withstand jealousy? Or envy, it says over here. Right? Jealousy is betrayal. Okay? Envy is wanting something somebody else has. Okay? Well, he's got a bigger house. I wish I had a house like that. Yeah. Well, but you have a house, right? And jealousy is betrayal. You can only be betrayed by somebody you loved and trusted. Okay, you cannot be betrayed by an enemy. Okay. Okay, 7 is highlighted. A person who is full tramples on a honeycomb, but to a hungry person, any bitter thing is sweet. Right? People that have plenty and they throw food away, but a hungry person is digging through the trash cans. Right? A half-eaten sandwich will taste sweet to them, good to them, when a full person would be like, oh, that's garbage. Right? Just a fact. Okay? Hey. This is highlighted for some reason. Oil and incense bring joy to the heart, and the sweetness of a friend is better than self-counsel. Right? So doth the sweetness of a man's friend by hearty counsel. Right. Not sure why that's highlighted, right? Right? Shouldn't be alone for too long, right? Call your friends. If somebody comes to your mind when you hear this, call them today. Give them a call. Okay? 12 is highlighted. A sensible person sees danger and takes cover. The inexperienced keep going and are punished. Right? Now, you can't help but think about all these protests and stuff going on, and how it's better just to stay far away from that stuff. Okay, stay home, stay away from it, or you're gonna get hurt. Okay. 13. Get a collateral. Okay. Take his garment if he has put up security for a stranger. Get collateral if it is for foreigners. Okay. That's yeah. Get collateral. Right. 17. Iron sharpens iron. One man sharpens another. Okay. You will not learn how to become a good mechanic from a baker. Okay? Okay? You will not learn how to become a good baker from a mechanic. Right? Iron sharpens iron. You learn from people that you want to be like. Okay? Okay. The key to today, Shoal and Abaddon are never satisfied. And people's eyes are never satisfied. Right? The grave and destruction can never be full, so the eyes of man can never be satisfied. Right? You always want more. You always want something better. Right? People that are considered rich are people that have everything they need and know it and are thankful for it. Yeah. And the last, I put this together it's highlighted just to put it together, and we don't read the whole thing, but know well the condition of your flock and pay attention to your herds, for wealth is not forever. Hmm? Know well the condition of your finances, your savings, the food in your house, what you have stored, right, for emergencies. For wealth, your job isn't forever. It could end at any time, okay? And then what do you do if your job ends and suddenly your income's taken away, right? Pay attention to that stuff, right? Always have enough saved up, right? They say you should be able to live 6 months without your paycheck. Okay? So you'd have 6 months worth saved up, 3 months on the outside. And they've said that for a long time. It's important, okay? So there you go. That's Proverbs 27. Okay? We're getting towards the end of another month. And we're over this month, and then we will start the very final time through Proverbs. All right? I don't know what I'm going to do after that. We'll find some other kind of study to do. So, stay tuned later on. We are on Acts 27. We will finish the book of Acts tomorrow and then start the letters, the epistles. But the history of the apostles, okay, we're working on that right now. We're next to the last chapter. We're reading the last half of 27. Paul's appealed to Caesar, and to Caesar he must go, right? They're about to get shipwrecked. Okay? About to get shipwrecked. All right? So, find out what happens there. But, till tomorrow, we'll do it again. Give us a like if you think about it. Okay? See you next time.